Every day, roughly one-fifth of the world's oil passes through a narrow waterway called the Strait of Hormuz. At its narrowest point, this strategic channel is only about 21 miles wide. On one side sits Iran. Nearby, American naval forces help patrol some of the most important shipping routes on Earth. Despite having no formal diplomatic relations for more than 4 decades, the United States and Iran remain deeply connected by geography, energy markets, regional security, and global politics. When tensions rise between Washington and Tehran, the consequences are often felt far beyond the Middle East. Oil prices can move, shipping routes can be disrupted, and governments around the world pay close attention. But how did two countries that were once partners become such persistent rivals? And why, after decades of hostility, can neither side simply ignore the other? To answer those questions, we need to go back more than 70 years. In the early years of the Cold War, Iran was one of America's most important partners in the Middle East. The country shared a border with the Soviet Union and possessed vast oil reserves, making it strategically valuable to Washington. At the time, Iran was ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, a monarch who aligned his country closely with the West. The United States provided military assistance, economic support, and political backing. For a time, the relationship appeared strong, but beneath the surface, tensions were growing. In 1951, Iranian Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh nationalized the country's oil industry. He argued that Iran's natural resources should primarily benefit the Iranian people rather than foreign companies. Britain strongly opposed the move. As Cold War fears intensified, the United States became increasingly concerned about instability in Iran. In 1953, the CIA and British intelligence supported a covert operation that helped remove Mossadegh from power and strengthen the Shah's position. For many Americans, this was a Cold War decision. For many Iranians, it became a symbol of foreign interference. That memory continues to influence how many people in Iran view the United States today. The next major turning point came in 1979. After years of growing opposition, the Shah was overthrown during the Iranian Revolution. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini returned from exile and became the leading figure of the newly established Islamic Republic. The revolution transformed Iran's political system and dramatically changed its relationship with Washington. Later that year, Iranian students seized the U.S. Embassy in Tehran and took American diplomats hostage. The hostage crisis lasted 444 days. It shocked the United States and permanently damaged relations between the two countries. Diplomatic ties were severed. More than 40 years later, they have never been fully restored. Since then, several major issues have continued to drive tension. One is regional influence. The United States maintains close partnerships with countries such as Israel, Saudi Arabia, and other Gulf states. Iran has developed relationships with various political and military groups across the Middle East. Both sides argue that their actions are defensive. Both accuse the other of destabilizing the region. Another major issue is sanctions. Over the years, the United States has imposed extensive economic restrictions on Iran. Washington argues that sanctions are necessary to pressure Iran over security concerns and its nuclear activities. Iran argues that these measures unfairly damage its economy and hurt ordinary citizens. Perhaps the most important dispute concerns Iran's nuclear program. Iran says its nuclear activities are intended for peaceful purposes, including energy production and scientific research. The United States and several of its partners have expressed concern that these activities could eventually provide a pathway toward nuclear weapons capability. This disagreement has shaped diplomacy for years and remains one of the world's most closely watched security issues. But the U.S.-Iran relationship matters for reasons that extend beyond politics. It also affects the global economy. Iran sits near the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important energy choke points in the world. A significant share of global oil exports passes through this narrow waterway. Any disruption can affect fuel prices, shipping costs, and economic stability across multiple continents. This is one reason governments from Europe to Asia closely monitor developments between Washington and Tehran. The relationship also influences regional conflicts, international diplomacy, and global efforts to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons. In many ways, the United States and Iran are locked into a strategic relationship neither side can escape. They may disagree on fundamental issues, they may compete for influence, they may even experience periods of severe tension. Yet each country's decisions continue to affect the other's calculations. Looking ahead, several outcomes are possible. The first is continued rivalry, with periodic crises but no major war. The second is renewed diplomacy, leading to agreements that reduce tensions and create greater stability. The third is escalation, where miscalculations or regional conflicts produce a more dangerous confrontation. No one can predict the future with certainty, but history suggests that the relationship between the United States and Iran will remain one of the most important geopolitical stories of the 21st century. The story is not simply about two governments. It is about energy, security, history, and power. It is about how decisions made decades ago continue to shape events today. And it is a reminder that in international politics, some relationships remain important whether the participants like it or not. The United States and Iran may not trust each other, they may not agree with each other, but for the foreseeable future, they cannot ignore each other. This is WorldScope Analysis. Thank you for watching.